It's Tuesday afternoon, 4 p.m. in Central Europe, and it's Space Cafe WebTalk time. Our Space Cafe WebTalk 33 minutes with Catherine Kavvada will begin very soon. Thanks for joining us for our talk today about secure connectivity and space traffic management made by Europe. As always, we appreciate your participation and ongoing feedback. SpaceWatch.Global is a Europe-based online platform for information in and about space and new space activities in a geopolitical context. And I would like to thank all our private and corporate supporters that showed their commitment to keeping our independent journalism alive. We really appreciate that. I know many of you are already familiar with our websites, our bi-weekly and daily newsletters, and the Space Cafe podcasts. The last one featured Stephen Ramage on Earth observation, and it's pretty cool. Give it a listen. For all our fans of audio content, we have also new episodes in the Space Cafe Radio. All of them are on all major podcast platforms, as you know. We also keep our fan shop open online for you to support us actively and become a real space watcher. If you have missed any of our previous web talks, we have an archive available on our webpage in the events section and on YouTube. So, as you can see, there is no guest today here. And you guessed right, we had to record our conversation earlier. But you're invited to post your questions to the Q&A section as mentioned earlier, and our guest offered and is very happy to answer them later. My guest is the Director for Innovation and Outreach at the Directorate General for Defense Industries and Space, DG DEFIS, at the European Commission in Brussels. Catherine Kavvada. Catherine is a trained lawyer with a law degree from the University of Athens and the University of Marseille. In 1997, she joined the European Commission and worked initially in the research frame programs. Subsequently, from 2000, her main services lies at the Commission related to space, in particular, the European flagship satellite navigation programs Galileo and EGNOS, where she was the head of unit from 2011 to 2019, also known earlier as DG GROW. Currently, she focuses on the European new space as a vector for society, economy, space research, synergies between space and the defense sector, and international relations and communications for the whole DG DEFIS. And here is our conversation. Enjoy. So, welcome, Catherine, again to the Space Cafe. It's great to have you here. Let's kick that off. When we met in Brussels at the EU Space Conference early in this year in January, your big boss, Thierry Breton, signed a joint statement together with the European Investment Bank and the European Investment Fund for the Cassini Seed and Growth Funding Facility. I mean, the objective is of this 1 billion space investment fund is to attract more venture capitalists, more venture capital funds to become active investors in European small and medium-sized companies developing space technologies and digital services using space data. And I had to read it off because it's so compact. That all sounds too good to me to be true. Can you give us some background of this Cassini facility, please?
Okay. So I will say exactly what you said. It is both true and very good. So in few words, space in general, not only in Europe, but worldwide, goes through a massive transformation. We see new actors, new models in the area of space. And as policymakers, we have, first of all, to embrace such a transformation. And we have to accept it, and we have to take all the appropriate measures in order to be prepared, in order really to anticipate, and if possible, to accelerate behind this massive transformation, we see opportunities in innovation, in business, in cross-fertilization between the space and other fields, and we see new markets. So what we have to do, first of all, to have a strategy. And this is what my big boss explained 2 months ago or 3 months ago. Number two, what we have to do, mobilize a toolbox, something with concrete actions able to serve three main elements. Number one, investment. Number two, access to finance. Number three, entrepreneurship. When I take the first one, the investment, which is the situation today in Europe for startups or small and medium enterprises. Unfortunately, Europe is short in private investment. By talking to them, we realize that they don't are able to find investors within the European Union. So they have no other choice rather than to turn to non-Europeans. From a political point of view, this could be a disaster. Therefore, we have to act. We have really to act immediately and urgently in order to stop such a trend and in order to attract investors within the European Union. And here it comes the Cassini initiative, where we have a dedicated chapter where we mobilize more than 1 billion euro investment capacity in the next 5 years. We don't do it alone. We join forces with dedicated institutions like the European investment funds, like the BE. So we are addressing to the experts in order to do it. The same approach for the access to finance. Today, small and medium enterprise, they're going to their traditional markets in order to get loans. Tomorrow, we consider that the European Union should mobilize all the financial instruments in order to serve. And last but not least, entrepreneurship. Over there, once again, we have to mobilize all our assets, as we used to say, financial and more than financial. What we have to do, create the European hub of the European entrepreneurship for small, medium, and growth scale. This is, in a nutshell, our strategy, which is good and true.
Okay, thank you very much for this explanation. You mentioned we have to act immediately. And I think with the current situation that we have in Europe or on the eastern border of Europe, this immediate becomes also another tension. So how is that initiative, again, initiated, announced 3 months ago, developing so far? Do we see any results already, or is it still in the ramp-up phase? Because these things need time, of course.
It needs time, but we need tangible results very soon. We don't have to wait 5 years in order to see the first result. And we don't need results only in one particular area. We need results throughout the cycle of this initiative. And when I say throughout the cycle, we have, if you want, 5 particular areas where we work day after day and in parallel. We take the story from the scratch and we try with concrete actions to work on the making of the ideas. So what we have over there, accelerators, hackathons, in order to help from the day one all the companies that they want to have a say and to belong somewhere. And there, of course, the actions are in motion and the results are already there. We don't start from the scratch, and as I said, we are not alone. We work for the last years, and we work together with the European Space Agency and our agency, EUSPA in Prague. So we join forces and intelligence. The second area where we work is the technologies, what we are saying, the real innovation. And over there, we have all the research program and all the European Innovation Council funds in order to promote the technologies in specific areas. And from the ideas and the technologies, we have also the one that we call it space laboratory. We have the in-orbit testing with our IOD activities. We help all these companies with our funds to develop and test their technologies by taking into account as well the cost of the launching. So we accompany up to the real testing of their activities. And on the top of all this preliminary area where we have concrete results, we take seriously the potential of these companies, and we consider them, as we say, adults among the well-established companies. In other words, we also reserve a part of our procurement for the new space. And when I say procurement, I have more in mind the space program. So we have some lots under the space regulation, or even the new one to come, or secure connectivity, dedicated to the new space. We have the policy on the micro launchers, and there again, we are having concrete results, and we hope that until 2025, new micro launchers would be a reality for the European domestic and not only market. And then another natural candidate is Copernicus, where a number of data buy could become and reserved to the new space ecosystem. So inclusiveness, concrete results for the companies on the top of the expansion and growth approach for the investment and the access to finance, as I said earlier.
That's interesting to hear. We are a proud media partner of the third Cassini Hackathon. I think that's one of the very small elements in this huge complex setup that you mentioned earlier. And I mean, what I like that these hackathons are coming with a theme. It's not just, oh, give us an idea, something with space. It's really, this time is it revisit Europe. So very sliced into defined markets.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really interesting to see. So are you happy where we are standing today? So 3 months after the start of this particular big new fund. Are you happy with that? Because you are in charge of innovations.
Yeah. More than happy.
Good.
I'm convinced that it will become a reality, and we will really introduce a game changer. We don't want to go ahead with a babysitting approach. We consider them, as I said, adults, and we have professional means in order to help. Today, as I said, the strategy is established, which is for us something very important. The means are identified, and all the cooperation framework with the EIF, EIB, EUSPA, ESA is also in place. So everything is there. The new space is there in order to get benefit from all these means, and all this orchestration is in real motion with results and with a great perspective. And I'm really more than happy and honored to be in charge of this field.
That's great. That's good. That's wonderful to hear. I mean, what I think, what history taught us, whenever Europe, the countries are under pressure from the outside, then our creativity comes out. So, and I think we are, and that goes unfortunately along with the fund. We are in this dramatic period, sad period, right now, so that we have to come up with ideas. Otherwise, we don't know how tomorrow might look like. So, I think there is an inherent drive for applying to this kind of initiatives from all of us. So, another big news broke out on 15th of February this year. The EU initiated the satellite-based connectivity system and boosted action on the management of traffic management for more digital and resilient Europe. So secure connectivity and STM is our topic. Let's talk about Secure Connect first of all. 6 billion euro, if I'm not mistaken, are confirmed. But tell us about the project and of course the challenges, because yeah, we know there are challenges in the house.
Yeah, and this is the beauty of space. Plenty of challenges and plenty of benefits. For us, it's not only one project, it's more than a project. It's a geopolitical toolbox in order to ensure strategic autonomy. You see what's going on. We need it more than ever. It's a tool in order to ensure resilience and also economic prosperity. Elements, ingredients that we need in Europe, not only for today, but for our future and the future of the next generations. What we intend to do with the secure connectivity, very quickly, there are 4 major trends, 4 key words that constitute all our ambition behind the secure connectivity. First of all, connectivity. It comes with the definition of the initiative. What we intend to do, offer, ensure guaranteed communication means to our governments in order for them to serve a number of applications in terms of security, in terms of defense, in terms of economic interest. And then connectivity vis-à-vis our citizens, because if we work in order to serve first and above everything else our citizens. So we want to provide high-speed internet across Europe. No more communication dead zones, and as much as possible coherence and cohesion among all the European Union member states. And this is more than important for all of us, governments and citizens. Second key word is the resilience. Today we have a number of means, terrestrial or to a certain extent space. But we see how vulnerable they can be from one moment to another. All that we wish to provide is a backup to the existing assets and ensure connectivity everywhere, despite each and every situation. Ukraine, some weeks ago, demonstrated how much we need the connectivity and demonstrated as well that Mr. Elon Musk was the one who kindly offered it. Which is not bad for the Ukrainians, but we as Europeans, we need to have our own means and use them on the way that we wish. Third key word is the security, something that none of the existing or future systems offers. all that we want to know and to do is make a system with state-of-the-art security approach. Security by design, we call it, and our ambition is to project Europe in the age of the quantum technologies. This is the future, and this is what we want, in particular, my commissioner wants to offer to the Europeans. And the last key word is the geostrategic philosophy and approach of this program. We do consider that Europe today should have such a tool vis-à-vis the other nations, US, China, Russia, not only for the citizens, but also the Europe as actor vis-à-vis the world arena. A big ambition, but
yeah, I mean, it sounds a bit like the golden hen. You know, when you talk about security, the military use, or the public use. So, how is it, or how will that be differentiated between Gov.com and Secure Connect? So I thought the militaries have their own system on the European level.
We're taught, I mean, for military, we pay attention. We can serve their application, but we will not be the hardcore military mean. For
Okay,
this
so not on the tactical level, it's just on the secure. Okay, got you. Okay.
For people that they follow the Galileo one, I have to say and repeat my commissioner, the secure connectivity is the Galileo moment of connectivity.
Well, I like that. I really like it. You know, when I heard the sidestep, when I heard the Galileo story the first time, I asked why? Why do we need that? Yeah, same with Copernicus. Why do we need this? Or what is the value of giving this data for free? It even took me a while to understand what is the value of this really open, accessible data. And we see it flourishing today. So I'm absolute with you. But here comes the but, and we wouldn't be SpaceWatch if we go to the nitty-gritty details. With the operation starting, if everything goes according to plan, 2027, what is in 5 years from now, isn't that too late? And I mean, you mentioned Elon earlier. I mean, he's jumping, in this case, for the good on the Ukrainian crisis, and he could deliver. But I mean, we see it with the launch market. It's a private business. I mean, he is raising the prices. He tweeted yesterday here from Berlin, where he was, that the Tesla cars are jumping 7,000 euros in price. So it's a business for him. So, or take OneWeb, another story. How can we hold this market for the service which will start in 5 years?
It will not start at 5 years, first of all.
Okay.
We go ahead with a very scalable way. So the initial services, the first services that we will offer, they will come already in 2024. And the full package of the first generation will come by 2027. So we have a dynamic, for some people, even an aggressive approach vis-a-vis the provision of the services. And this is because, first of all, we need these services. And secondly, because as Europe, considering also the existing assets that we have, could allow for early provision of services. So by 2024, end of 2024, the first services will be there. And the second part about the market, are we afraid of the competition or the coexistence? My reply is very easy, no. And my reply is also no, but also well substantiated. No, because we're not doing a Me Too approach. We will not create a Starlink 2 or a OneWeb 2. We have another ambition. We come third in the market, but with great differentiators. Differentiators in terms of security that nobody else could claim to have, and differentiators vis-à-vis the quality of the services as we will combine services or capacity stemming from different orbits, the GEO, the MEO, and the LEO. So just the combination and with new technologies will bring another service. Third, but most probably the best.
What is the current status? I mean, it would be great to see it 2024. So what is in 2 years? But that means knowing how long it takes to build a satellite, especially when we are in a new area and it's not mass production from the beginning. So it is challenging on its own, I assume. But where are we? Am I right that there are these 2 consortia, saying New Symphony and UNIO, bidding right now? So when will there be a decision that they are going ahead?
Just to clarify, we're going through various stages. Right now, we run the so-called definition phase in order to have or proceed with a knowledge building approach. We contracted last year a big study, and this year, beginning of this year, the 2 studies of New Symphony and Union. But these 3 studies in general, associated with other studies, are there in order to feed the European Commission with a number of elements. They don't compete for the concession afterwards.
It's good that you clarified that. Yeah.
This is very important because all these partners, they're not in competition. They just help the European Commission to get all the elements that we need in order to proceed with the next step. So today, what we're doing on a legislative point of view, we try to finalize the so-called legal act, the regulation that we proposed the 15th of February. We have also the ambition, if possible, to stabilize the legal act in the course of this year in order to go ahead with the procurement of the new system. This is in sequence the 3 main areas where we work: knowledge building, legislative process, and then the procurement or the procurements, might be more than one, for the concession.
Again, it's ambitions, very ambitious, and I really appreciate the service what you guys are doing for Europe. Another hard question is, what will your department, the Commission DEFIS, to do to have not another, let's call it Ariane 6 challenge, cost overrun, time overrun, that you can keep this 24, maybe 25 for initially starting it, because it's space. I mean, it's hard by definition.
I will avoid the parallelism with Ariane 6, just because this project is not run by the European Commission.
One for you. Okay.
Okay. It's a complex project, the secure connectivity, by definition. And for us, there are 3 elements on which we have to pay attention. First of all is the time to service. Number 2, the performance of our services. And number 3, the budget. Without prioritization, the 3 of them are keywords and key objectives. We need a product in time, and we explain the reason why. We need a service, a product up to the standards that we want in order to make the difference. and we need a product, a service within our budgetary envelope. I don't have the magic recipe because there is no magic recipe. Everything which is related to the proper management of such a program will bring us fruits and positive results in terms of these three positions. So we have, and based on the experience that we have vis-à-vis Galileo, vis-à-vis Copernicus, vis-à-vis EGNOS, to structure the monitoring of this program, the rigorous follow-up of the budget, and no compromise to the performance in order to achieve the desirable results. Vis-à-vis the performance, there is something more than important as far as secure connectivity is concerned, and this is the scalability. We will not wait 20 years in order to get the technology. We know that we can start with the existing mature technologies and generation after generation, as they will come one after the other in a very short table, to introduce them without delaying, and by delaying, without creating additional costs and false expectations. So a lot of work, but focus to our objective.
When talking about challenges, let's come to one of the essential areas for our future in space, or space business, regulation and management. In our case, space traffic management. It was also part of the space package, as we discussed earlier. So can we act faster here? Can we act fast? Is there a fast? Because we all know our space traffic management, space debris, it's alarming, but so far it doesn't happen so often. So we take it and put it aside. It sounds a bit sometimes like climate change. Yeah, we see the summers are hotter, the winters are ugly. So, but yeah, okay, we have time. But scientists tell us something else. So how can we act fast here as Europe?
Yeah, no, I'm 100% in line with you, and I like the comparison with the climate change. It is not a theoretical threat. This is, as I always said in my team, in all the conferences that I participate in order to raise awareness. So not a theoretical threat, but rather a threatening reality. So do we have to act? The reply is yes. And this was the message that we convey through our communication back to 15th of February on STM. So it's a call, an alert, and a wake call, if you want, to all Europeans. We don't have to demonstrate worldwide that we are able to build great infrastructures that run as Galileo, Copernicus, or the secure connectivity. But we have to demonstrate that we are also able to protect them, and with them protect the interest and the life of our citizens. So what we have to do, and as you said, as one team, we don't have to work on silos. We have to be the team Europe, as we call it. We need to have a clear mapping of our requirements, and not only civil, but also military defense one. The space is contested and congested, So there is place for civil and military requirements. Once we know the requirements, we need to improve our capacities. We don't start from the scratch. We have a number of assets among member states, but there is an evolution, and we have really to anticipate all these technologies in order to be at the level that we have to be in order to have the means to implement our strategy. So capacity is very important. Then, more than important is the regulatory part. We don't have to live in a far west situation. We need to respect the same way rules and conditions, at least at European level. And as this is an international challenge, an international problem, we need to find international solutions. All that we're doing now is to contribute as Europe in this international solution. So step by step, but we don't have a lot of time in front of us.
I like the number of those things that you just mentioned that gave me so much energy to ask more. I mean, the European space regulation is one thing that I'm super interested in. But let's focus on the space traffic management for our last minutes. When I read your fact sheet that came out for the STM part of the space initiative, SST tracked last year 268 satellites. Is what I think is, wow, very low out of, I think, 4,500 active satellites that we have, at least. I mean, it feels like, that's how I just define space traffic management. If I have my satellite / my car on the street and I know I'm the best driver in the world, so I drive without even looking right and left because I'm the best driver in the world. So who cares about the rest of the traffic? And that feels like if I monitor 268 satellites out of 4,500, then we know where our satellites are, but not the rest. And they might hit us from the back and from the side. So it feels so unbalanced. Help me with that, please.
You don't have to be. You consider that the 268 is not enough. I can tell you that we've started such an exercise back to 2014. So in few years, we've started from 1 and we are almost in 300. And here, as you said, size matters. So our objective is to increase the number of satellites that we follow, because by increase the number of satellites, we increase our catalog and we know what's going on. As you said, you have a peripheric view and you know what is in front of you, behind you, up and down. In the meantime, we don't act alone. We cooperate with US, where they have a great catalog. So all our assets, based on this cooperation, are well protected. However, we need to continue increasing our capacity, and we will do it by having better technologies and by being more credible. I think that we have such a possibility. We work in close cooperation with the member states, and the future is open. We need really to work on SST, because this is the backbone of the STM. They are really one linked to the other.
When I interviewed Josef Aschbacher in Brussels and a few weeks back in Berlin, he talked about space traffic management as part of their accelerator, or not there, the ESA accelerators, that he wants to point out and focus to. How does the European Union and ESA are working together? And I hope that the answer is yes, we are working together.
More than that.
Good. I'm happy.
More than that. We are also informed about the accelerators. One of them is really close to the STM approach, SST. The objective is, as I said, to join forces. And the objective is to avoid duplication and to create competition. So we welcome the accelerators, and we will work together with the European Space Agency on joint teams in order to see how these accelerators will support the European Union initiatives. So we see the complementarity rather than the competition, and together with Joseph and his team, we pave the way for the next governance scheme between the European Commission and the European Space Agency. The space is bigger and there is space for everybody.
But what is not big, and that's will be my last question, is obviously the budget. So what will Europe invest in STM in this initiative? Can you give us a concrete number?
Mm-hmm. The budget is not unlimited, but it is big. I'm working in the space field for the last 25 years in the European Commission. And I have to say that 15 billion euros allocated to the space program, it's really big, but always not big enough, considering that the ambition is always bigger and bigger. We have enough money in order to implement the SST activities within the space program, and we have a reasonable amount of money under the Horizon Europe in order to promote the new technologies, the new capabilities that we need for the SST. However, if you allow me, the budget is not the only thing that we need. We're making policy. Sometimes with one line, you can multiply the money of the others, or you can destroy everything if this policy is not the good one. So we also focus on the policy matters, the cooperation with the member states and with the European Space Agency. We focus in the future on the legislative approach, and we focus as well within the international cooperation. So money is one, but not all.
Great. I take we have enough money. That's enough for me. Thank you very much, Catherine. It was a great pleasure and a great honor to have you on the show, and I wish you good luck
with
my
coffee.
Yes, it's a space coffee. That's right. So thank you very much again, and good luck with this very ambitious project and program. And I hope we will hear from you very, very soon again about more new things that coming up.
Thank you. And I will be available to share with you all the tangible results in the near future.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great. Before we finish for today, please give us 2 more minutes. Don't miss our upcoming events. On the 6th, tomorrow of April, we have our next Space Cafe Italy by Dr. Emma Gatti, and she will have Dr. Luca Rossinetti, the CEO of the Orbit, in this talk. That will be in Italian, of course, because it's Space Cafe Italy. On one day later, on the 7th, on Thursday, we have our next Space Cafe Australia, and it's not 6:30 as it's written here, it's 8:30 for the Europeans. Annie Handmar will talk with Lloyd Dam from Southern Launch. In the afternoon, we have our next Space Cafe Moriba's Vox Populi by Professor Moriba Jah. What evidence constitutes harmful interferences in space? Also a very, very interesting topic to clarify. On the 8th, we have a white label event, another Space Cafe, not Space Cafe, Elephant in the Room 2.0, addressing the abuse and harassment in the space sector by Powering Space. And then for the next weeks, mark your calendar. On the 12th, I will talk with Ricardo Conde, the CEO, the Director General of the Portugal Space Agency. And on the 19th, with Chris Kunstetter from AXA Space. All events are going to be online on Eventbrite. And as always, we would like to hear your feedback, so please check in with us on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. Don't forget to sign up for our daily or bi-weekly newsletters. And if you like to treat yourself with something special, become a real space watcher or help us in our supporter program. Thank you very much, Catherine, for this inspiring and very open talk, also being our guest today. And thanks to this entire team behind the scenes for doing their great job week by week, event by event. Again, I hope you all will stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for joining us. Hope to see you tomorrow, next week. In the meantime, visit our website and follow us on social media. And don't forget, become a space watcher. Thank you very much.